Hello, Grandma DC here. Well, I have been asked to show you all how I would make dressing and gravy. I also was going to do a chicken today rather than a turkey because I'm not going to cook a whole turkey just for me. But it would be the same, chicken or turkey. Bird's bird. Bird, 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 bird is... Oh, sorry. Anyway, I've decided to kind of do things bass-ackwards, as they say, and start with the simplest, which is the gravy. Several of you have been asking me, make gravy. Couldn't be anything easier. Number one, you need some sort of tasty liquid. Tasty good liquid. And that would be either the drippings and liquid off of your turkey or chicken that you cooked, or it could be in the form of a store-bought stock. I found this turkey stock at Aldi's, and it's actually what I'm going to use for my own self and mom, probably. But for the purposes of showing you, and this is another way to make gravy, I am using bouillon. I would like to have had granulated bouillon. It's so much easier and it melts quicker. Instead, I've got 4 cubes. Double strength it. 1 cube per cup, double strength it. I have 2 cups of water and 4 bouillon cubes in it. And this would just be a simple gravy to make at home. They're melting in there, if you can see that. And I'm going to let that start boiling. To that, I'm going to add butter, because gravy needs fats. Fats is what makes gravy good. This would be my idea of the simplest way to make a gravy, would be to get this to boiling, your tasty liquid. I'm going to add maybe a little salt, a little pepper. I particularly like sage or bay leaves, and let those simmer together. Taste it till the broth tastes like what you like. And then I'm just going to reduce it. And once it gets reduced down and thicker, then we're going to just add some good grass-fed butter. And the butter itself will help that gravy thicken up. It won't be a super thick gravy, but it should be a really good tasty one. Do you remember those, well, maybe not so great low-carb, no-carb breads we've been making? Soul bread and other things like that. They come out dry or tasting like, or cornbread-y. Cornbready. I've dehydrated all my fails and or successes that were left over. And here they are. We're going to turn these into dressing. That's right. We're going to do it. We still have our bouillon over here reducing. I have put a couple of bay leaves in with it. And when that gets reduced by half, I am going to add about 3 to 4 tablespoons of grass-fed butter to it. And then we're going to put that gravy over the breadcrumbs. I'm going to crush up these in my food processor. Simple. I'm just going to pulse it. I don't want them into fine crumbs. I just want them kind of chunked up. I've got some throwaway pans here, always good at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I've chunked up some of my low-carb bread into large chunks. If you think something's too big, just kind of break it up by hand. I'm going to chop up a bunch of fresh mushrooms because I love fresh mushrooms. And I have some of these baby Bella, portobello mushrooms. And these things are amazing and low in carbohydrates, and they're going to go into the dressing.
To him. As many as you like.
Never trust your GoPro, because after I cut the mushrooms up and put them in with the bread, I put in a little dried onion. I said I would have used some fresh onion, and I would love to have had some celery to put in it. The usual stuff that you put into dressings, whatever you like. And then I mixed it all together with 3 large eggs, and I used the gravy I completed making by reducing it by half adding a big chunk of butter to it, and that made a wonderful tasty gravy out of our tasty bouillon liquid. And I poured it all over the bread chunks and the mushrooms and the onion, and then I put it in the oven. And there it is. I added a little butter in the bottom. This is going to shorten up my video a lot. I am so sorry y'all didn't get to see that, but you will see the end product. Now, the next thing on my list, and this thing is running, make sure, is green beans. We've done green beans before, but in case you haven't seen that episode, when you talk about stringing a green bean, nowadays most green beans are stringless, to tell you the truth. But you pop off both ends. If there's a string, it will come off at that time, and it usually runs down the side of the green bean. I love fresh green beans. I got these at Aldi's, and they're probably not the freshest. If you don't like snapping like that, you can always just lay them down in a bunch and just cut the ends off. I mean, just depends on what you think is better. All right, and then we're going to cut these all up, maybe into 1-inch pieces, and I'm going to put them into a pan. I will be right back. Okay, you may notice it's a little bit later. My son called. He calls me once every 2 months, so right in the middle of cooking, always. I boiled these off for about 25-30 minutes so that they are nice and tender, with a little bit of give to them. Here's the dressing. I put actually some extra butter on top of it, but it's a little dry, but tasty. I might suggest putting extra liquid with it, more of the gravy type stuff to make it moister, and maybe an extra egg or something. The green beans are basically almost all cooked all the way through, and I'm going to throw these mushrooms in with them. They've got just a little bit of butter and water and salt in with them, like this. And, whoops, forgot to cut that one up. Where's my knife? Oh, this, I'm going to go get some bacon, throw some bacon in here with these. I'm going to throw some sour cream in with these, a couple of tablespoons. That's just what I got left in here. Everything I've got left in my sour cream is going in here. I love the way you get it out with a knife. A spoon might work better, I don't know. Okay, that we're going to put in, you know, half a cup or so of heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to put these back on the stove to cook down. Also throw in a little bit more butter. Butter is your best friend at Thanksgiving. And ketoing. Now we've got green beans and we've got dressing done. And we did a very quick gravy, which we then put over our dressing. So if we wanted dressing to, or gravy to go over our dressing extra, then what we would do is we would pour out some of our turkey stock or use some bouillon, and we would make gravy the way we did before. Or, as I said, you would thicken it with any myriad of substances. Tablespoon or two of your fibers. Any of them thicken. So, it's not hard to make gravy, and that would moisten up this fairly dry, low-carb dressing. Next, it's a chicken. Boy, have I been putting this one on. I'm going to cook this chicken like I cook a turkey, just to show you how. And then we're going to be done for the day. And there our beans are with the bacon in them and the mushrooms and the sour cream and the cream boiling away. I'm going to turn them down and just let it sit here, probably cover it up and turn on a little above medium high. We're going to let that cook down. Then we can put it into a container, such as this. Put it in our oven, reheat it after we take it to our family reunion, or reheat it for ourselves. Simple, simple. This is a whole chicken. Just shake your chicken. Okay. Enough twerking chicken. Yeah, well, never mind. Ignore me. So, what do we do with this chicken? Let's pretend it's a turkey. They look greatly alike. If you have a turkey, don't forget to get the package out of the inside of it, okay? Because that's got all the giblets and everything in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands here, run them up under the skin. You may have to break some of that clear connective tissue, and that'll just come right away from the skin, like so. Then we're going to take our butter. This is my favorite part. And I'm going to squish butter up under the skin. All over that beautiful breast. Beautiful chicken breast or turkey breast. And put it in there like so. Next, I like bay leaves. They give poultry a fantastic flavor. If you have some whole sage, feel free to do that. You will have to remove this when it's done, or let people pick the pieces out themselves. That's usually me, because hey, you know what? People need to learn. And you can put these up under here in as decorative a manner as you wish. Since this is a small chicken that we're pretending is a turkey, I'm just going to, ooh, there's a nice big one. I'm going to just stick one or two up under there. One of these days I'll show you how to debone a chicken and keep it intact. Takes about 45 minutes to do though. I'm thinking I need a little more butter up here in the top. And that's just, like I said, don't be shy with your butter, because it's going to run down in there and it's going to make this all so good. Stick your things on there with it. Okay, salt and pepper on the outside of this, and then I'm putting it into the pan. I normally cook my turkeys in a great big silver bowl. I started doing that years ago, and I have just kept it up. One of the things, and I know this is a little off our carb list, is I like to take an apple. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to shove this apple up inside here because it has moisture, and that will help keep this moist. Same, I could also put some onion inside to keep it moist. Onion would make the broth that's going to come off of this with the butter and everything taste really good. In the meantime, I'm going to rub a little bit more butter out here on the outside. This will make the skin taste really good. And I like to tuck it in the armpits. Tickle, tickle. Okay. Play with your food. It's okay. Go ahead. Do it, do it, do it. Alright, well, that's good, my little chickeny turkey friend. Now I'm going to season it the way I like with salt. I'm going to be a little generous with the salt on the outside of this bird, because salt's what makes the chicken or turkey, you know, taste good. If you ever notice, every year you make a turkey, it's never quite salty enough, but you can always add more on the table, so don't worry about that at all. Now, I like pepper. You don't have to. And I'm going to put the pepper over my bird. Oh, yeah, I like pepper. All right. Now, tin foil over this whole thing, and I'm going to put it in the oven. If this was a gargantuan turkey, and it was in a big metal bowl, and I sealed the top of it up with Reynolds wrap like I usually do, I would pour, I like to put peach schnapps over my turkey, but since we're ketoing, we're not going to use the peach schnapps. I would go ahead and put some water in with this. I'm going to put a cup or two of water. I want my water about, well, halfway up the turkey and or chicken. I'm going to cover it maybe a little less than halfway, because this thing's going to sweat some great juice. So, yeah, I'm going to guesstimate 1 cup for this little bird. You kind of guesstimate with your giant turkey. Just remember, that giant turkey is going to put off a lot of juice. So, you know, a couple of cups in a big turkey is probably plenty. Then, I'm going to stick it in the oven at 300 degrees, and a big turkey I will leave overnight. Don't even think about it, just forget about it. Next morning when you get up, it's going to smell terrific, and when you take that foil off, it's going to be floating in that butter and oil and deliciousness. And it's not a bird you can put on the table and carve. It's not going to be a pretty bird, but it's going to be a moist and delicious bird. This bird here, I'm going to put a little water on. I'm putting about a cup of water on this bird. Woo! Right up there where I said, just a little less than halfway. And then we're going to foil the... There they are in the oven together. I hope you all like this simple little meal, and maybe it gave you some ideas. Just fix a little chicken dinner for yourself, or maybe some ideas for Thanksgiving. Like I said, it's not difficult to cook. It's really simple. I love you all. Be good to one another. Enjoy this weather while we can. Tomorrow it's supposed to get cold again. So here it is, several hours later. It's late at night, and I slept for a little while. Almost forgot about it. And here's the chicken floating in its juices. Oh, now this would make some really good gravy. And here's the beans. I almost overcooked them because nearly all the juice is out of them, but they're okay. And besides that, if your beans weren't overcooked for the holiday, you wouldn't know what to do anyway. So you might want to take your beans out. Well, that's it. If this was a turkey, it would be looking just exactly like this, pulled away from the bone, juicy, tender. I'm going to save the juice off of this and carve it up. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you and everybody around you have a really good time, and don't forget to love one another and be good, and like, share, and subscribe. Love you all. Bye-bye.